We're doing a simple project that you should be able to sell for 40 bucks no matter what. As always guys, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon. We're putting out a ton of content and we're doing a lot more stuff on how to make some extra money. With the economy the way it is today, having a side hustle is a must. So we came up with a design that we think will sell for 40 bucks, no problem, no matter where you're at. So the plan today is Dad's gonna start the timer and I'm gonna race the clock to see how many of these signs I can knock out in an hour, and we're gonna be using our new Strong Men stencil.
Now we rarely use plywood for signs, mainly because it's super easy to sand through the veneer and there's no fixing that. But because these are rustic, then if we were to sand through the veneer, then it would only add to the look of the sign. Doing the layout was super quick, a minute and a half, something like that. Then I used the extreme coarse cut-saw disc on a disc grinder to give it a really kind of aggressive, choppy looking edge. And that was quick too. Now normally I would clamp these things down and then do the edge, but I'm racing the clock here guys. I gotta make up time. The two bits I used for this sign were the profile bit and the 90 degree. Now, if I wasn't in such a hurry to do these, what I would probably have done is done all the letters at 3/16 of an inch deep and then dropped it down to 1/4 of an inch to do the artwork. But I didn't do that because, again, I'm racing the clock here. This lettering has some pretty sharp points on it. And trying to feather those in and out when you're at 1/4 of an inch deep is kind of difficult, but it's definitely doable. I'll make sure to leave links in the description below for everything we used today. I'll leave it for the router bits, the base plate, the stencil, all kinds of different stuff. That way you can go check it out. We had a few issues while we were recording this. We've been using GoPros for everything, but the problem with them is it started overheating. So, just so you know, full disclosure, there are a couple times where the camera stopped recording and the timer kept going, and it just kind of got a little bit hard to keep track of. But I promise you, this was all done within the time frame of 60 minutes and 26 seconds, something like that. A few things you got to keep in mind if you're going to carve plywood, especially not very high grade plywood. Number one is underneath the top veneer there might be voids. That happened to me a couple times here. There's areas where it'll chip out because the only thing that you're carving is that top veneer. So if you're trying to do something and make it super nice and clean looking, you want to go with higher grade plywood. The other thing to keep in mind is that it's going to dull your bits quite a bit faster than just regular wood. Even faster than hardwoods, I think. And I believe it's because the glue that they use to put the plies together. Remember, you're going through multiple layers here and each one of those layers has glue on it. So it's going to dirty up your bits pretty bad and it's going to dull them pretty fast. Once all the outline was done, then I went in with my 90 degree at right around 1/4 of an inch and took everything out. Now, this is where you want to wear glasses. With the profile bit, I didn't have too much of an issue with large chips flying out, but with a 90 degree bit, I really did. There was stuff hitting me in the arms and the face and things like that, and they were decent sized chips. So again, just kind of be careful if you decide to do some stuff with plywood. No matter how big of a hurry you're in, make sure you brush out your carving, otherwise you're going to regret it. Now when you're spraying things like this where you want it to be beat up looking, you don't want to just spray the carving. You want to spray everything, because once you sand some of that off, you want it to have a very random, natural look and not just be black in the areas where the carving is. Once all the black was dry, then I used an 80 grit disc on my disc sander to get probably 75 or 80% of all of the black off. Then I gave it a really fast once over with 120 grit on the random orbital. I want to see that black, but I also want it to have a smooth face.
Now,
60 minutes and 25 seconds.
that's right, baby! I just barely missed the hour mark, so it was 60 minutes and like 26 seconds, but we're gonna count it anyway because it's our video. When you guys are selling your stuff, you want to try to be creative, come up with all kinds of different stuff that you think would sell. And remember, know your market. So this stencil right here was a little bit difficult to carve, especially fast, but man, I think it turned out awesome. We think you can sell these signs for 40 bucks anywhere. They're pretty good size, they're made out of plywood, and they look awesome. So I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below for our Strongmen stencil, plus all the bits and stuff we used today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.